And here we go. We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. I am your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff, and elsewhere on the screen, surrounded by belts of all kinds, is the reigning Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion and party champion, looking very stoic, the always effervescent Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, tell the people at home how you're doing.
I am I am feeling, I am amazing. From this moment until one of these belts is gone, you can now refer to me as Tarek Two Belts.
I can, but I won't. Will you
It
be
feels
calling him
amazing.
that, Scholar Brian?
I
Oh,
will
he's had the
not.
two belts. He knows what this feels like.
I know. I do know what it feels like. But I also know that as two-time Scholar in the Bank champion, holder of the briefcase, the only reason that you have that belt right now is that I allow it to be so. That's it.
No, the only reason I have this belt is, as you told me in the past, everybody's got a price.
Oh, and we're gonna get and
But
mighty prices were paid, weren't
but
they?
but this is more just you allowing it. This is us continuing our dominance over the Scholars of Wrestling, Scholar Brian, Air 5.
It's
You're
deja.
just
It's
remember, you're just
deja
one
vu.
goal. You're just one goal away. You're just a Royal Rumble game away from joining me and becoming an undisputed scholar.
And
Fool,
that's
you're gonna get there eventually. You're gonna get there eventually. You'll make it soon. You got this.
he'll make it when he stops picking Lacey Evans in everything ever.
Every month until it happens.
Which
But
means
anyways,
And
we'll
I'll just
talk
give this.
about that and more.
I'll
Yes.
just give one more before we actually get started on the show. I'll just give a well thought out call out to Scholar Charlie. It was all down to one match between me and him,
It actually
and
was.
it was. He did have a good chance. I mean, it is very hard to vote against Shayna Baszler, but knowing the backstage politics, it was very well against him, and it definitely showed.
yeah,
And
Yes.
his image just
knowing
definitely.
the backstage politics and knowing how well received everything that was going on, it made it easy to change the pick because I had Shayna going into that week.
Not me. I was
I
Asuka all the way.
Yeah,
As
well,
soon as, as
we're
soon as
gonna
they said
cover.
she's in the Money in the Bank, I'm like, yep, that's her. She's the winner.
Yeah, we'll talk about this in much greater detail later on in the show. But first, we got to kick this show off right, the same way we got to kick off every single show, with a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed, we shall go ahead, and I will have someone lift up that curtain so I can go ahead and peek around because being the champ, have someone do it for me with a little bit of
backstage news.
News. News.
News. Money, 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 money. Yeah.
Meh.
I'm just covered in championships.
Do you want
It
to
is
talk about
amazing.
the Intercontinental title now?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought. Because as it
Absolutely.
was announced, Sami Zayn was like, "Hey, what's this thing on the virus?" And like, "Oh yeah, you can stay home if you want to. You don't have to wrestle if you don't want to." It's like, "Okay, I won't wrestle." And to which they replied, "Guess what? You're being stripped of your Continental title. Tournament time."
Now, there's two ways to think about this. Okay. Both sides have an argument here. Both sides are correct. Okay, you can't have a champion off TV for however God knows how long this is going to go on. So, and you have a ready-made feud for when he comes back. So it's like, okay, fine. So the WWE's right on that end. So it's like you have a ready-made feud. Okay, Sammy can win it back when he comes back. Whatever. But then this goes against the point because you can also say this about Roman Reigns too. You gave these guys carte blanche to stay home. You know, like if you don't feel comfortable, don't come to the shows. You don't have to wrestle. We won't take it out on you. And then they turn around and they start cutting Roman Reigns from promos. No one says his name and all that. He's cut out of everything. His name is taboo in the back. And Sami Zayn, who's already known for issues backstage, okay, this just gave them a reason.
The one thing that really, like, I just have a problem swallowing is just they've told people if you feel uncomfortable, stay home. You won't lose your spot. Don't worry about that. And then they strip Sami Zayn the Intercontinental Championship, which, yes, there is a history of WWE's lack of creative control or lack of interesting creative perspectives for Sami Zayn. But there is the argument that can be made that, yeah, the Intercontinental title is not exactly is not as prestigious as it once was, but they gotta use it to have some content on the show, and having one of the belts away is not exactly the best option to do it. When they took the title off him, they probably even said, "You're still not going to lose your spot, but we do need the belt on the show." And as soon as you come back, you have your feud. So the thing that really sold me on this is just his response on Twitter about it. It's not him saying, "Oh, I'm legit pissed that they take the title from me." This is now character Sami Zayn.
I was gonna say the whole thing read like a work.
The fact that people have been posting is like, "Oh, is this just WWE throwing shade at Sami Zayn for refusing to come to work?" My answer? No. I don't think it's actual shade. It's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You choose to stay home, but you're going to get punished for it." I don't think that was the whole frame of mind that some people are saying. I think that what they're pulling is a stretch. Just give them content. Brian Alvarez is even saying like, "Oh, the title means nothing, so stripping him off the title is just a stupid idea." I don't think of it as a stupid idea. I mean, if you look at it like if Andrade is choosing to stay home at work, they probably would have done the exact same thing with him in the United States Championship. This is now for them to be able to have some content on their show. Like I said, is the Intercontinental title as prestigious as it was before? Unfortunately, no. But hey, at least have it on TV. And Sammy's not going to lose his spot when he gets back. He's just going to get inserted into an Intercontinental Championship feud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, at the beginning, I was like, WWE's in the right, but you'll always have that group. Mm-hmm. You'll always have that group of people who takes everything that the WWE does and spins it for their own story, for their own telling of the tale. Okay,
I feel like they're just using it to just keep trying to make WWE let's just keep going with our anti-WWE because just people backstage at WWE are just monsters, which, to be fair, some of them are, but I feel like this is just them trying to find a reason to be angry at WWE other than just trying to think, oh, maybe this is a good idea to bring the Intercontinental Championship on the show. Because what are these lower card guys going to do? And people will argue, well, that's what Brock Lesnar was gone for so many months, and he was never stripped. The difference is they didn't have this virus going around. They don't have fanless shows. Ooh, excuse me. They don't have lowering ratings that are just getting record lows every week. And honestly, I don't think Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin is a great idea with that. But even with the cross brand thing, I even have my own. People think, oh, it's just once again the wild card because it's the brand failing, and it's just me arguing. Well, they need to do something to get these ratings up, and from the word is these are the networks suggesting on doing cross branding. But once this whole thing the pandemic is over, people are allowed to watch shows. They're probably just gonna get rid of the cross branding thing because now the workers are coming back. There's more people working on the show. They can make more content.
And here's the deal for that Brock Lesnar thing that you brought up. Brock Lesnar, you knew when he was going to be back. The WWE knew when he was going to be back. They planned on how to build their characters to get to the point where they were worthy challengers for when Brock Lesnar came back.
Exactly.
So in this case, with what's going on in the world right now, you have no idea when Sami Zayn is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You have no clue at this point. So at this point, the only thing you could really do if you want the Intercontinental title on your TV, because you're not going to say if WWE would be monsters if they were like, you need to come back to TV just to lose this title. Then you can go off and do your thing.
Even if that would be the case, it's still the argument if Sammy could get here in the first place because he's back. He's still living in Canada, right?
I don't know if that's true.
So, but like, if he did go back to Canada, it would be kind of hard for him to come back right now. So, if that is the case, I actually have to. I don't know if he's right now in the States or not.
I don't know. But either way, yes.
But it's just one of those things. Yeah. If this is how they were going to do it, a tournament's the best way to do it. I'm not sure I agree with all the decisions that were made tonight with who to put in to the tournament and how this is, because first of all, here's how I feel. Gonna do some fantasy booking now. The best way for this tournament to go. This isn't how it's gonna go. It's not, because this isn't how the WWE works. It'll prop up one. My tournament idea is it'll prop up one superstar in a Chad Gable-like fashion that they did at the King of the Ring. And then you have the big, bad, dastardly heel come in and take the Intercontinental title. So you still have the heel champion. Okay. It's probably going to Jeff Hardy in all reality. But you had Daniel Bryan win tonight. We're taping this on a Friday. So SmackDown already happened. So you have Daniel Bryan win tonight. You have Elias win tonight. You have two faces. You have two good guys win tonight. Okay, so next week you have the two heels win. You have Sheamus beat Jeff Hardy, and you have the Raw guy, AJ Styles, beat Shinsuke Nakamura, because if you're not going to have AJ Styles in the tournament if he's going to go out in the first round, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm. So the matchups being Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, so you get the real match that you would have gotten. You get the WrestleMania rematch or whatever in the Intercontinental title tournament, and you get Elias versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles has some PTSD shit go down in the match against Elias, allowing Elias to somehow overcome, beat him, and get to the finals. Sheamus beats Daniel Bryan. So you have Elias versus Sheamus in the finals. You have Sheamus win. And you have a pretty good heel Intercontinental champion to fight through the summer. Then the face can win, then a face can win, and then Sami Zayn can come back, and you can build that feud from there when he does come back. But
when they initially revealed the brackets, I, for one, was very disappointed in just how it was set up, and I even showed you guys basically my own personal brackets on. Once they announced the Intercontinental Tournament, I made my own brackets. I was like super excited for it because it's like, okay, let's try and think. All these SmackDown, they have so many SmackDown guys that can go in this tournament. And of course, someone posting a tweet, Sheamus versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship to last the summer, and my boner just went through the roof. I'm like, yes, please, because it was just the perfect Intercontinental Championship feud. I'm all for it, and I had Sheamus and Daniel Bryan in the first round. Have that be the WrestleMania rematch that we all wanted. And just trying to be so creative with these brackets. I put Cesaro and Shinsuke because I know these two would put on a fantastic match against each other, and it's two guys who respect each other. So it's kind of a way, somewhat double face turn, because it's guys we respect and who they respect each other because they work with each other, with Sami Zayn and Baron effing Corbin. And at that point, I took Baron Corbin off because I'm like, they're putting this guy in main events. I mean, he's their thing to try and boost Raw ratings by having him versus Drew McIntyre. Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna put butts in front of the TV. You do that like shrug, fool. But can you think Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre is the right match to try and put butts in when you have people like Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and all that? For your first Raw versus SmackDown cross-branding match?
Do you really expect me to say yes?
I gotta say, with the point that you just made, Tarek, okay, as much as you think he does, as much as we love the dude, okay, Cesaro's not gonna get those ratings either. Okay, that's it. Daniel Bryan.
When it actually comes to an in-ring match, that is a match that will. I will agree. Cesaro now, just how he's been booked, yes, no, he wouldn't put butts. Daniel Bryan, yes, he would definitely put butts on in front of the screen. But hey, I'm looking at this as trying to rejuvenate how I had my tournament, used to rejuvenate Cesaro into a single star, because everyone likes him, especially just all the shit he's been doing with the New Day on the up, down, down YouTube channel. The man is just so full of charisma.
I'm just gonna say, I'm a little surprised you haven't been playing Clash of Clans because of him.
I'm not gonna do that. I actually listened to their podcast with him, and of course, he talked about his favorite tag team spot where he was just basically he took the Super Mario star and went apeshit on everyone. That's one of my favorite clips. Every once in a while, I keep going back to that clip, and I'm just thinking, this man is making the people go absolutely nuts for his awesomeness. Why can't WWE see this shit? Just make him at least a top mid-card guy instead of a lackey for either Sami Zayn or someone like Baron Corbin. So much better than... I hate it.
Well, for whatever it's worth, the saga of the Intercontinental title and this entire feud, tournament, whatever you want to call it, they're still far from over, and just about anything is possible. But before we get to all that, before we discover what's next for the Intercontinental title scene, I believe we've got a pay-per-view to cover. That's right. We need to cover the results of.
Beforehand, can we at least give a good congratulations on the announcement that Becky Lynch made on Raw?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get to that a little bit later on tonight, but might
I
as
feel
well
like we should
address
just
it.
do it now as a whole, as the last backstage news, really, and then we'll just bring it up as they used it storyline wise for the show.
All right. Might as well skip ahead.
Congratulations, Becky Lynch and Sad Man Seth.
Yeah, that was some poor timing for that gimmick to happen during the course of the show. Your future wife is pregnant, and then you look all disheveled and sad and miserable. Like
we know in character wise why you're like that because of what happened, and it has nothing to do with the pregnancy. But bad timing, bro. That's it.
But yeah, congratulations, Becky Lynch. Congratulations, Seth Rollins. Welcome to the life of parenthood. And it is definitely going to be something to go for.
May it treat you as well as it's treating Scholar Tarek.
Oh, because I'm on cloud nine. Speaking of which, it's funny because I actually had a couple wrestling matches with my kids, basically training them to become big wrestling fanatics like me. It was actually really fun.
There's some kids
give me the Dudley dog.
There you go.
Logan gave me an RKO out of nowhere, and of course I beat them both with. I beat Logan with a choke slam, and then it's funny. Elizabeth comes to charge at me. Of course, I spear her, and then I give her a jackhammer to win. I'm a great dad.
Now
we need to clip this and put it on YouTube. Stat.
I know, right?
For the people at home, how slow was the spear?
Let me put it this way: she sold it like a champ. It was a Dolph Ziggler sell.
Oh damn!
What she sells a spear really well.
Complete with bounce.
Oh yeah.
All right, I think we might want to move on before we get Scholar Tarek in any trouble here. Money in the Bank.
They loved it. They're having the time of their lives. They want to keep going. They want to keep wrestling with me. Hell, Elizabeth wants to challenge me for my world heavyweight title.
Oh snap!
Of course she does.
Challengers from all comers.
And then of course I'm wearing my world heavyweight title. I'm just like, at this point, I could just be now Tarek 3 belts.
Speaking of pushing everyone's luck here, finally getting to the Money in the Bank card proper.
Nice segue.
Hey, they can't all be winners.
No, I was actually serious. That was a nice segue.
Oh, in that case, thank you. Yes, we've got Jeff Hardy defeating Cesaro Tarek. I'm sorry. This was a match.
As
it was a good match.
Yeah, as much as you give it the finger, it was always what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And Cesaro is that guy to make the returning and the new superstars look really good. So and he did his job.
It was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
It really was a good match.
It's one of the best pre-show matches I've seen in years.
Well, yeah, Cesaro's in it. Duh. His match with Drew Gulak at WrestleMania was actually really good too.
Cesaro is your every month, isn't he?
Cesaro is my constant erection.
I will remember this.
Cesaro is every month because he did pick Jeff Hardy to win. Which is the one difference.
I would have been champion sooner if I picked Cesaro at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Hindsight.
The opportunity missed. I would have gone all over Cesaro.
Well, because you
I
have
bet
to
you
go
would
back.
have.
If I did.
And when was the last time? When was the last time Cesaro won a pay-per-view match? So it's like
He won against Drew Gulak. Yeah.
no, like you have to go back in time before that when you were making that pick. When was the last time Cesaro won a pay-per-view match? So it's
Probably
like
during a tag team when he was with Sheamus.
yeah, so like 2 years before that.
Well, then,
So
I should have just thought with my penis on that one.
yeah.
Do it, it'll never steer you wrong. But until that day comes, the New Day have defeated the Forgotten Sons and Miz and Morrison and Lucha House Party. I think we all pretty much saw this one coming.
Oh yeah, and it did make the Forgotten Sons look good.
Mm-hmm.
It really did make them look good, and to the surprise of no one, I even said it during the prediction show. Lucha House Party is just there to take the pin, even though Grand Metalik had a good showing as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was every fatal 4-way tag team match ever. Just like devolves into chaos. It's no DQ, which makes what happens at the end make no sense whatsoever. When Michael Cole is looking at you in the background, like, what the fuck are you doing? when Michael Cole is looking at the ref in the background and he's making that face, you know you screwed up.
Oh dear.
So it's like, and Michael Cole had one of the best commentary lines ever. The Forgotten Sons are the Forgotten Sons because they feel like they've been forgotten.
I wasn't even paying attention to commentary. Did he really say that?
He said that. He did say that. And I'm like, wow.
We got a genius in our hands here.
Yeah.
The man, Captain Hindsight, right there.
Yeah. I mean, like, the action was good. Okay. John Morrison and Graham Metalik are going to do John Morrison and Graham Metalik things. That's just what they do. And it was good. But it also fulfilled the prophecy that I thought it would. It made the Forgotten Sons look good, but it was also one of those ones where I don't think they would have looked good if they won. So the New Day can win this.
Opinion, man.
The New Day can win, and then the Forgotten Sons can win when they actually do the one-on-one tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a fan of
Two
a
on
new.
two. It's a tag team match.
I've never been a fan of a first-time team. I've never been a fan of a team winning the titles for the first time in a multi-team match. Never been a fan of it. So it's always better for me if a brand new team wins the title in a one-on-one. So this made them look good.
It's in their future.
And now they can move on and win in their next challenge.
Speaking of moving on and winning in the next challenge, we've got a surprise appearance by not MVP, but Bobby Lashley coming out of nowhere and defeating R-Truth.
I actually didn't hate this.
Neither did I.
I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? MVP and Bobby Lashley do make a good pair. Even more so than oh god, I forgot their names. The tag team.
Thorne and Shane Thorne and whoever that other guy is.
Yeah,
them?
Bobby Lashley just seems like a better fit for the managerial role for Bobby Lashley, and since he's getting a pretty decent push right now, he's going to be a leading contender against Drew McIntyre in the near future. Have MVP be that Paul Heyman to Bobby Lashley's Brock Lesnar.
And it's like I did enjoy the beginning part before the match started. I enjoyed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
from R-Truth being dumb R-Truth, playing to the crowd that isn't there.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Whatever. MVP coming down and R-Truth doing the ball, and because he just keeps shooting free throws because of what MVP used to do. And then Bobby Lashley comes stomping down to the ring, just says to MVP, "I got this. Take the night off." And MVP just kind of going, "Yeah, all right," and then walking off. And then Bobby Lashley proceeds to destroy. That's it. So,
Yeah. In the end, again, I like the pair. Make it work. Make it happen. It's just the
keep it going.
Yeah.
this was more of an angle than anything else, and based off of that, this did its job. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see, and it gives you something to look forward to moving forward, because now you give Bobby Lashley a mouthpiece that makes sense. That's it.
I also kind of like the fact that how they continued it on Raw, and this may have been just me, but I also picked up a vibe that you have Andrade looking at it's like, oh, now we have a legit competitor with Bobby Lashley. Maybe my U.S. title is in danger, and I could see Bobby Lashley versus Andrade for the United States title. I mean, Andrade is getting a good positive reaction, even like when people are reviewing Raw, people are just giving Angel Gaza and Andrade praise. So why not turn him and Selena Vega face, and just have the mouthpiece of MVP versus the mouthpiece of Selena Vega in the United States title feud?
Because here's the one thing: would that group actually work?
Well, they're getting ready to toss Austin Theory out.
Would Zelina Vega work as a face manager the way that they've made her character since the NXT days? Would she work as a babyface manager?
I'm not sold.
That's why I'm like,
I don't. If they keep the character right, a face, not like a huge baby face, I'm a good person type thing. It's just like kind of like that. I'm a badass. Keep the badass baby face going, at least and just I don't know. Just the idea of Selena Vega versus MVP Mike Wars just seems to intrigue me, and then just keeps making MVP just look like a complete and utter tool. And she constantly gets one up. She can one up him on certain things. And because MVP, former wrestler, they can even have some stuff. They can even do some outside of the ring shenanigans. I don't know why. It just works for me. The idea of it works for me.
Yeah, right. I just don't see Andrade especially. I don't see the tandem working as a babyface. I don't see Andrade with Selena Vega working as a babyface.
I don't know. I just feel like they've reached their limits for a heel. I mean, there's only so many times you could be basically fodder to Drew McIntyre, and from all the praise they've been getting from people like us and even backstage, it's not that much. It's not that much of a twist. It's not that much of an out there idea for me.
All right. Moving on, we also had Bayley defeating Tamina, as I think we all called.
This match sucked. I didn't like it.
Yeah, this one was kind of.
It was an eyesore.
I'm gonna have to go the other way. I actually kind of enjoyed this.
Okay, explain.
Some of it might have been the outfit that Sasha Banks was wearing. To be completely honest,
if we're talking about that, then we would have had a much different reaction. But
But
we're talking about the match, not Sasha.
yeah, and going in, I expected it to be dog shit. Absolute, complete nothing. Okay. And what I got, okay, was not that. Like for me, it was not a bathroom break match.
Oh, it's the definition of a
There
bathroom
was
break match
nothing
for me.
on. There was nothing on. The ending could suck a dick. I don't. I understand what they're going for with the endings, and I know what we're getting at the end of all this. But it's like Bailey can beat Tamina's clean. Okay, come on.
Oh,
But
yeah,
everything up until that, I did not hate it. I didn't.
it
I
just
just
felt, it
didn't.
was just very. The only real positive I can really give this is that Bailey carried the match.
Mhm.
Tamina was just very, very sloppy, and I think her time has been gone for a long time. It's nothing against her. It's just I don't even think she's ever had a good match, at least an entertaining match. So I can't find Tamina as a entertaining, legitimate competitor. I can't take that seriously ever. But that's just me, man.
That's just like your opinion, man. But conversely, I don't think it's anybody's opinion. It's an objective fact that Bray Wyatt is entertaining even when he loses to Braun Strowman. Can we all agree on this?
Yes, I will say, I remember last week I was really conflicted with this and even questioning, is like, how could they do this without making the other guy look bad? This was the perfect
Like
answer for
this.
me. This was a great answer for me.
Mhm.
It was a fun match. It was a fun angle, and I just love the story that was being told in this. Just all the match is Bray trying to save Braun from the Fiend, getting him to join him, and basically just, yeah, like I said, save Braun from the Fiend because of their history, because of just what they were able to do together. And Braun basically using his, like, being able to trick the human side of Bray Wyatt with with the black sheep mask and ending up getting his guard down and beating him at the end. I'm just like, yeah, this is brilliant. And
Mhm.
just that final shot of Bray looking just, yeah, it's like the good Bray that was trying to save Braun Strowman from his fate, from this dark fate, is gone. That's not Bray Wyatt. That is the Fiend just peeking out, and the
Mhm.
flashing Fiend shots took away all the subtlety in that. It's like, oh, here it is, just straightforward. But I still loved it. I loved
Mhm.
every second of it, and I still need to watch SmackDown. Did they say anything about this?
No, they did not. Most of the attention was a bit of a placeholder. Braun Strowman actually teamed up with Otis to take on Miz and Morrison.
That's weird. That is
Yes.
very random.
Get the context. It wasn't just a thrown together thing.
It
But
sounds like a thrown together thing. I guess, yeah, I just gotta watch. I gotta watch it to get the context. So I'm just like Otis and Braun.
but basically, but for this match, as long as you go into it expecting a match filled with story, okay, this was never going to be the 5-star classic. This was never even going to be the 3-star whatever. This this
This
this
match
was a
was a three
match
star for me.
that was all about telling a story. As you said, it's all about Bray Wyatt trying to save Braun from the Fiend, and Braun not having it at all.
I'm
Tricking
actually I'm
and
actually surprised on how tall Bray actually is, because I'm seeing them stand together, and he's only like just a few inches shorter than Braun, and they're trying to push Braun as this giant monster compared to Bray. And I'm like, the man's like 4 inches shorter than him. They're actually, and he's just as built. Braun is more lean, but Bray is more bulk when it comes to his build.
I do gotta say I enjoyed Bray's tornado DDT.
So did I.
I enjoyed that. So I liked that Bray was bringing out new stuff that we'd never seen before. But this was the best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the fact that they never brought the Fiend into it. This was a legit. We're gonna get Braun versus the Fiend, and that's when the Fiend is gonna take the title back. But the fact that Braun was able to pull one over on Human Bray, okay, the championship run is not a waste anymore.
Yes, I agree. This is now this is a legit championship reign for Braun, and I just like how they were basically both being booked as like Braun was doing some of his heavy stuff, but Bray knows him well enough to know his attacks and be able to hold his own. They were very evenly matched in this, in how they were going with this. And it took Braun to play mind games with Bray to get Bray's guard down, to hit that final nail. So if people ask, I'm like, oh, great, Bray lost again? Oh, this is a burial of Bray Wyatt? And it's like, no, not at all. Complete opposite. This is doing wonders for both guys. This is a strong loss and defeat.
If Braun beats the Fiend, then we have to have another discussion. But
now this is it.
Now.
I'm now really looking for. They basically washed away any somewhat fear that I had on the prediction show last week. All gone. I am now full on board with this. I can't wait to see where they're going next.
For right now, they're doing this storyline correctly.
I love that they didn't. Okay, you said they didn't even bring up the Fiend. I'm glad they didn't bring up the Fiend. Have him still it's still that fact. Like, you don't need to bring him up. You know now, while Braun is having this tag team match with Otis versus Miz and Morrison, which I can now see both guys. I can see Otis now pulling 2 turkey legs out of that Money in the Bank briefcase and giving one of them to Braun. Just a big, giant leg of meat. As they're celebrating, they win against Miz and Morrison.
I haven't got there yet.
Have you seen SmackDown tonight?
I said I did not. I still have to watch it.
Okay. Well, apparently it's canon now that Otis keeps sausage in his briefcase just in case he gets hungry.
I could just
that's a real thing.
Link. Just pull out one link of sausage. We don't eat pizza here, brother. We don't get tired of sausage. We love sausage. But yeah, back to what I was saying before. Sausage.
I got the mean old sausage blues.
But yeah, now it's like you're having this, no mention of Bray, but you know he's there. He's out. He's watching. He's basically watching Braun from a distance, waiting for that moment to strike. I like that. Just he'll strike at any moment. You just don't know when. I'm sold. I love this feud. I keep it going, baby. Keep it going.
Speaking of feuds that will keep on going, or possibly might not, we've got Drew McIntyre defeating Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. This one I enjoyed, but as of right now, I'm a little confused whether or not this feud is going to continue.
It's not.
I don't think it is.
Because it's moving into Rollins versus Mysterio because of what happened on Raw. But basically, okay, match of the night, easy, without a doubt.
Agreed.
Okay. This was one that overcame not having a crowd.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This 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 would have been the one match on the show that would have gotten the "This Is Awesome" chance, because this the show as a whole. Okay, now that you don't have to play up to the fans, and you don't have to take your time to get the crowd into it and whatever. Like matches that would have been like 25 minutes were like 16. So it's like this was condensed and it flowed very well, and there were no missteps here.
No, these guys worked wonders with each other. Their chemistry is very well.
Yeah. I loved that move that McIntyre did when he did like the sit up onto the rope, grabbed Seth Rollins and then chucked him 3/4 of the way across the ring, making him flip over. And just the ending was great. And I love how they're booking Drew like a babyface that isn't milquetoast, just badass.
Yeah, exactly. He is
badass babyface. That Drew McIntyre is the epitome of what you tried to make Roman Reigns.
He's the succession of what they were trying to go with Roman Reigns. And when the time comes for them to actually allow people back on this show, he's like the second he comes out, he'll probably be the first person to come out and welcome everyone back, and the people are just going to just start chanting, McIntyre, McIntyre, let's go, Drew. McIntyre, let's go, Drew.
Yeah, so far Drew has been killing it lately, but is part of me still a little cynical and worried that they're gonna make him exceedingly milquetoast like they do with a lot of other top level guys from that era. I'm a little on the fence about that, but so far what we've been seeing, it's looking extremely promising, and I am hesitantly call myself a Drew McIntyre fan.
Well, I was like, when you ask that question, fool, the answer, it's actually kind of a simple answer, and like if you compare him to Roman Reigns, he's not Roman Reigns. He's Drew McIntyre. He's not the cardboard copy. It's like when you look at Roman's history, it's like, oh, pretty much the second the Shield broke up, he was thrown in the main event. He was thrown he was automatically the star. The Shield storyline just went to Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, and Roman, they just separated Roman as far as possible and just put him in the main event and just basically shoved him down our throats. When it came to Drew, he did build his way up to earn that spot since coming back. Since when he was in NXT, showing how awesome he was and getting the NXT championship and all that. And then coming into the main roster, starting off as the Diesel to Dolph Ziggler's Shawn Michaels. Or, as I called them, Ziggletire, way back when.
Oh, yeah, I remember Ziggletire.
He basically built his way to earn that main event spot. And it reached that point where once he started being a badass babyface, he really didn't do much to change his character. He was just like, I am the guy who's just here. I'm here just here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. And he was just basically playing the crowd, and the crowd were loving it. I keep going back to the conversation I had with you, Jeff. I'm just saying, like, he could be in that position as the top badass babyface, especially when I think it was at that time Reigns was gone, because before he came back with leukemia, before he came back beating leukemia and all that. I was thinking, why not make him the top face? And he's now showing.
There we are.
Here we are. he is showing that he can hold that top spot and keep that top spot and keep the fans interested in him instead of being basically forced down our throats how they did with Roman Reigns. And it's nothing against Roman. He's a great wrestler. I can't take anything away from that. He's just given bad shit to work with.
And
that's all it is.
And yeah, Drew sometimes cuts corny promos. But if he can but the deal is, when he gets in the ring, okay, even when it's corny, it's not suffer and succotash.
Exactly.
It's not
that level of corny.
It's not stuff that you couldn't see this guy saying, even if he's a complete badass.
I think the better way to put it, it's not eye roll corny.
Yeah.
It's not Captain America, I understand that reference, Iron Man rolling his eyes corny. It's not corny. It's like, yeah, that's so stupid, but that was actually great how you put it.
It's not Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Rocky Maivia before The Rock corny. Okay, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think we just divided up into like the most infinitesimal ways of specifying corniness I've ever seen. But speaking of corny or elsewise, that brings us to our main event, the men's and women's Money in the Bank, of which Asuka and surprisingly Otis of Heavy Machinery won the briefcase.
This was so stupid. It was great. At the same time, it was stupidly entertaining.
I love the thing. I don't care what anyone else says.
Oh, I'm not saying that I didn't love it, but I can also admit when 3/4 of the shit that we saw was stupid. But it was so stupid that it's like, it was so stupid that you love it, even through the stupidity.
It's that whole thing in Clerks 3, the Rosario Dawson's like, I'm reviled, I'm disgusted, yet I can't look away type of thing. It was stupid fun, and it was very entertaining. And I think now it's reached that point that there is absolutely no hope for Dana Brooke. Ever.
Well, she did win tonight. She beat Naomi again.
Oh,
congratulations, Naomi! You beat the klutz who took herself out of the match by slipping on a wet floor.
Dana Brooke won again.
I was like, congratulations to Naomi for losing to a klutz like Dana Brooke.
Yeah,
Naomi will be fine.
Wasn't it an accidental win? I could just see her just like basically pulling how Kane and Daniel Bryan won the tag titles, just them fighting each other and then like an accidental win.
No, the only person who gets accidental pins in WWE is R-Truth. You know this. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dana Brooke pulling down the briefcase in the Money in the Bank conference room, which is not a real thing, but they made it so that Stephanie McMahon could have a cameo to make Dana Brooke look dumb, which I'm good with, because it makes Dana Brooke look dumb.
A Stephanie McMahon cameo that we all know she wasn't even there for.
Via satellite.
Yeah, exactly. Cameo via satellite.
Cameo. You all knew the rules. The real briefcases are up on the roof. Stop being dumb.
My response, like, if I was Dana Brooke, is like, well, this actually has legit money. Open it and just starts counting the bills. That's like, at least I get something out of this. Honestly, the biggest highlight of this match was AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan fighting their way into Vince McMahon's office, and they're just like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, Put the chairs back. I'm sorry. Namaste."
Just
God, you look like an idiot.
schoolboys in the principal's office. That's what
That's
they were.
exactly what it was, and I was laughing and just them arguing who was the bigger coward afterwards. Like, well, you were the one who's saying, "Oh, put the chairs back, put the chairs back." Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Wah!
And back to the
do
races we go.
And I did enjoy all the PTSD stuff they were doing with AJ Styles, and every time he ran into Undertaker memorabilia and the Undertaker room or
Which is
whatever.
apparently there.
Yeah, but I did enjoy the fact that it wasn't like he was killed and then he rose again and then he was perfectly fine.
Apparently, they did film something in that room with AJ Styles in that coffin, but it was cut from the final cut. I would love to have seen what they filmed in that room.
And then the food fight where the women and the men are all beating up each other. Poor Rey Mysterio.
It was so corny.
Poor Rey Mysterio. Getting choked out by Shayna and then getting sandwiched in between Nia Jax and Otis.
Oh boy.
Poor Ray. It was so dumb.
And then after that, they get to the roof, and Asuka and Baron Corbin are trying to beat up each other.
Okay, people are asking why was Baron Corbin trying to knock Asuka off the ladder? I mean, they're in two different matches. Well, the answer is actually quite simple. Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans have a history. Baron Corbin wanted to have Lacey Evans win. Duh.
But it's like briefcase is right there.
Apparently, they're going with the whole story is that Baron Corbin wanted to get the briefcase first, so he's like, "Hey, come on, let me get the briefcase first. I want to be the first person." And then just, why wasn't there at least one green mist spot? Hell, green mist Baron Corbin. That would be his bad luck moment for shattering the mirror in the weight room.
So yes, we got Asuka's victory, and sure enough, we had. My wife was freaking out about this. An Otis victory via Elias interference.
Hold on. We can't discount the double murder.
I'll be honest, I looked away for a second and I was like, wait, they did a spot already? Like, I legitimately missed it. And then even after rewatching it, the whole thing didn't seem like it was presented right. Like, it just seemed
it wasn't.
like...
it was very badly filmed.
That was not the way at all to present a spot where a dude is throwing people off the roof.
And just adding a sound effect splat.
Yeah, it's like, and then, but here's my problem with that. Even if they fall, couple stories, whatever, you should still sell that for more. We know it was taped, but you should still sell that for like more than 24 hours. You got thrown off a roof in kayfabe. It's like
you land on a smaller roof.
AJ Styles got buried alive. AJ Styles got buried alive and took 3 weeks before he resurrected and came back from the dead. Okay, you fall off or you get thrown off a roof. You can't take a week off. That's it.
Well, they even said there was a smaller roof. It was only like a 6-foot drop. Such a bad reason, but you know what? I don't even care.
I'm like,
I'll let it slide.
No, it's like, dude, you're building up King Corbin so much as like a murder enthusiast because he tried to kill Elias before WrestleMania. Build it up, man.
Just keep that story going.
He threw 2 people off the goddamn roof. Okay. And you're gonna lessen it by saying, "Oh, there was another roof 6 6 feet down. No, motherfucker, I threw you off the goddamn roof. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That was really the only real down thing. Like they did absolutely nothing with the fact. Oh yeah, Rey Mysterio was thrown off the roof. Aleister Black was also thrown off the roof.
And
I'm
they're
gonna
here,
automatically make them a tag team.
and they're here tonight teaming up in a tag team match where Rey Mysterio is going to continue his bad week by getting his eye
Gouged out by the steel steps. Yeah.
by Sad Man Seth. I'm not calling him Messiah anymore. I'm not. It's Sad Man Seth from now on. It's not.
So now that we've run down the entire card, what would you say are the final grades for Money in the Bank 2020?
You want to go first on this one, Brian?
It was not great wrestling wise, okay, but I was entertained throughout. I'm going a very high classic OT.
I was actually very entertained. The only real downer for me was the Bailey Tamina match, because I just thought that was it was a very sloppily executed match. Other than that, I really didn't have any real problems with the show, and the fact that it was very, very short. It was a very short show. And it was just the hijinks of the Money in the Bank match. The two main title matches were awesome. The tag team match was fun. Yeah, I'm actually going to give this a full beer. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
it was a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you in the sense that it had a lot of really unique things going for it, and when those things did hit, they were fantastic. But I'm going to have to go with a classic goatee on this one, but a high classic goatee. Just because it seemed like there was quite a few parts that sort of dragged that didn't quite land for me. But the pacing of the show and the final Money in the Bank match, that was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going, classic OT.
Maybe just the beer grew more for me because it gave me this title.
You sound like you're biased or anything at this point.
No, not at all.
About the length. Okay, this just goes to show that what WWE needs to understand when we get back to normal TV. Okay, the 4-hour shows don't work. The 5-hour shows don't work. The 6-hour, the 7-hour WrestleMania, fuck off. Okay, that's it. It's one of those. Ever since this pandemic started, okay, every pay-per-view show that they've done, okay, is the way that pay-per-view should be done when everything's real, when everything's going. Okay, because the more fast-paced, the more better paced a show is, the better it is. If this show was a regular show with a regular crowd, okay, and this show was 4 hours long, with what was on this show, this would have sucked. 4 hours of this would not have worked.
Didn't overstay its welcome. I love it.
2 hours and 15 minutes of this, just the right amount.
Well, you also just got to look at the fact on like if the pandemic didn't happen, what other matches would have been on this card? Like, would Sami Zayn put the Intercontinental title on the line? Would Kevin Owens have a match? Would Roman have a match? It just lends on the question on who else. For what they have now, this works perfectly.
Yeah.
The length, it would be different when you have more people able to to have a bigger card.
Mm-hmm.
I think pay-per-views need to go back to a 3-hour standard.
I'm right there with you, depending on the quality of the show.
3-hour standard, 4 hours for the major ones. 7 hours for WrestleMania is by the end of it.
Yeah.
Unless you're there.
And even then, like, anyway, I'm not going to get on that one.
Well, I'll just keep saying I was there, and I never got that point where I was like, oh God, this is so long.
That's why I added the caveat. That's it. Because we were watching at home and it was excruciating. That's it.
I'm afraid so.
That makes more sense. And yes, the year before, we were feeling that way because, yes, I also was watching it with you guys. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thankfully there's progress all around, but then again, those are our thoughts. Now we're turning it over to you, our wrestling listening, viewing, discussing audience. Wherever you are, join us in the conversation. Tell us what you think. What did you think of Money in the Bank? What do you believe is the future outcome of the Intercontinental title tournament? Wherever you are, we want to hear from you. So check us out all across the internet, all across social media. Leave us comments. Check out our Facebook at the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And you can also join us on Twitter, starting at ScholarsOW for all the latest episode uploads. And you can join us on our personal Twitter accounts and join us in the conversation on a more personal basis. Fool, Champ, where can he reach you?
You can reach me, Tarek Two Belts, at the Avataric.
Brian, where can he reach you?
You can reach me, the Scholar in the Bank winner, coming for Tarek Two Bells at Atomic Beanpole.
And you're going to reach me with all my no belts at I'm Robbie Rage. For the days, come on, this is still technically quarantine. What do you need belts for? I mean, really.
See,
I'm
you
staring
said the
at my
complete opposite when you had this, so you shush it.
It's okay. I'm staring at my non-existent case.
Like I said, Brian, promise is a promise. I will give you the next Scholars of Wrestling Championship at the third pay-per-view after I just hold off for a while. Oh, yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm not really gonna do that. I'm a man of my word. We are a tag team, Brian. we are running the Scholars of Wrestling show. I promise is a promise. You get the next title match at this next pay-per-view Backlash. It's Backlash that's next, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, Backlash, you and me, buddy.
With the best wrestling match of all time. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And versus Randy Orton. Let's do this bullshit again.
But then again, you all should have seen that coming already because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next week for more Scholars fun.